Okay. Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, October 16th at 6:14 p.m. We are going to start the Citywide Council and Special Education's special meeting. It is a special meeting to do interviews for candidates we have for the Citywide Council on high school appointment, which we have available. So I just wanted everyone to know that. So first order of the day, good morning, good evening, Susie. Morning, oof. So first order is going to be the interpretation team. Interpreters, can you please introduce yourselves? And then we'll do roll call, and then we'll start with our first interviewee. And that will be Kim. Kim, you'll be up first, but we need to go through the interpretation roll call. Spanish, can you please start?
Yeah.
Buenas tardes. Yes, thank you. Buenas tardes, somos la línea de interpretación en español. Por favor, para escuchar la línea en español debe marcar el número de teléfono 347-966-4114 y colocar el número de identificación 836-183-377 con la tecla numeral al final. Gracias.
Gracias. Thank you so much. And Mandarin, please. Mandarin.
Hi, good evening. The following message will be in Mandarin. 大家晚上好，中文翻译频道的电话请拨打347-966-4114，然后输入会议的 ID 818-741-353，请号键。再说一遍，电话号码是347-966-4114，然后会议 ID 是818-741-353，请号键。谢谢 ，Thank you. The Mandarin interpretation line services is done. Announcement.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right. Could you also put your contact info in the chat box so everyone can see that? Thank you. Rose, can you please do roll call?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Francesca Ferreria. Here. Now this thing's not working. Holding the button. Here. Dr. Sinai.
She'll be on.
Sinai will be in at 6:30. Joan. Heather. Here. Mark.
Present.
Dr. Melissa is also on her way in. Ron.
Here.
Maggie.
Present.
Susie. Present. And Irene is excused for today.
Okay, we are at quorum. Thank you, everybody. So what we are doing today is we are going to be doing interviews. We have 5 candidates for the CCSE appointed position to the Citywide Council on the High School, CCHS. So we have allotted 10 minutes for each candidate. We have 3 questions we're going to ask each and every candidate. Before you get started, though, we'll let each candidate have 2 minutes to introduce themselves, or up to 2 minutes. So we'll need timekeeper to please keep track of the time. And so that's how it's going to go. Once we get through the interviews, we then will adjourn the special meeting, go to the calendar meeting. So by the time we actually get to the vote, it's going to be around 7:30, 7 to 7:30. I just want to give everyone a heads up on that, and we'll repeat that for each candidate. So Kim, just wanted to give you a heads up on that, okay? So Kim, are you ready and available?
I am here and I'm ready and I'm available. Hopefully you can hear me.
We can hear you, Kim.
Okay.
Welcome. First of all, Kim, thank you for applying. Really appreciate that. So our council members all have your 2 pages of your document you have to fill out. The information that just says you have a child in the school, and then your candidate statement. So those are the 2 pages we have. So it gives us a little info with the candidate statement. We'd love to know a little bit more about you.
Absolutely.
So if you could give us about 2 minutes and just give us, who you are, and then we'll have 3 questions for you.
Great. Well, I'll probably repeat a few things that are in the candidate statement as well. But my name is Kim Burney Brooke. I have been a New Yorker for over 20 years. I have raised two children. Both of them have had IEPs and navigating special education for both of them. My oldest is now in college, 21 years old, and my youngest is now in high school at Brooklyn Collaborative Studies. Both of them have had various different challenges in the classroom. And one of the things that I was very adamant about as a parent was to ensure that their peers and the families of their peers, the parents, knew what special education was about. It's not about segmenting those students, but it's really giving them the most appropriate education environment possible for them. And so that was really important to me. When I served on the SLT at my children's elementary school, which was PS 107 here in Brooklyn, I worked with the special education liaison to do sessions that actually invited families in to help them educate them about the special education process and what it meant. There was a lot of hesitancy for families to have their child in the ICT classrooms. They thought they weren't as rigorous as the regular classrooms. And we really worked to dispel that, to say, look, you're gonna have two adults in the room. This is actually a good thing for your child as well. And it's about differentiated learning at the end of the day, which most teachers should be able to do ultimately. I also identified late as ADHD. I was medically diagnosed when I turned 50. I had a realization that, oh, wait, this sounds a lot like me. It took me a lot of years after my children were diagnosed. And so with that, it has really given me a different perspective in terms of the accommodations that could have helped me as a student, as a college student, and also in the work environment.
Yep, and we're at time.
We're at time. Great.
Yep, thank you.
Sorry, I should have put a timer.
That's all good. It's all good. All right, who would like to, from the council, who would like to ask the first question? Council members, who would like to ask the first question? All right, Heather?
Hi, thanks for coming. Could you give us a brief rundown of why you want to be a part of the CCHS as
Yes.
the representative of the CCSE?
Yes. As a representative, part of the CCHS is that it has an impact on all of the citywide high schools, obviously. And being part of that community, especially as an advocate for those with special education and have different needs within a school environment, having that voice there and an advocate there is something that I'm really passionate about, and helping to bring another perspective to the table. Oftentimes, families will come in and they have a very narrow identity or identification of what education should be. And for me, we need to open up that lens, because education can take on a lot of different parameters and a lot of different ways of how it can actually manifest for a child to learn. And this is where I would really lend my voice, my experience, my expertise, especially even being as an industrial and organizational psychologist, focusing in on those things. And how do we bring that together? Because it's not just one environment works for every single student.
Thank you. Second question, Susie, you want to do it?
Sorry, hold on. What do you think is the important issue affecting special education, and what you are going to do to impact it if you are on the CCHS based on what your position entails?
Yes. So one of the biggest issues right now, obviously, is the decimation of the federal Department of Education and the funding cuts. And that is going to hurt our children, ensuring that they have a free, appropriate public education, ensuring that IDEA is actually implemented and that they are getting the needs met, even through high school. I have heard from parents who have been advocated, their students in middle school were told, they're good. They don't need the IEP now, which is such a disservice to those families and to those students. A student with autism is autistic for their entire life. So this is something that I think is really important, is that we need to make sure that parents are not actually being convinced to move their child out of special education because they're afraid of a stigma. And some of these stigmatizing ideas and ideologies are actually coming from a lot of the parents and the voices that are the loudest in the room. And this concerns me. And
Thank
so
you.
this is where I would actually be an advocate. Sorry, just to come back to your question again, ADHD brain, but being a parent advocate, like making sure that we eliminate the stigma that special education students are not something to put away in a closet, but they actually enrich everyone's life
Great.
and
Thank you.
bringing that in. And that's important. And so just really being an advocate for those needs and those students' needs.
Thank you. And third question, who wants to do that? Ron, you want to do the third question?
Hi, how are you, Kim?
Hello.
So can you provide an example of a time where you represent an issue pertaining to the IEP community and how you navigate the space of the DOE, a school district office, towards solution? And what was the outcome of that?
Yes. So as a parent with two children with IEPs, the first was really my youngest was part of the special education in pre-K and the pre-K special education system and received speech therapy, which helped tremendously. When he was entering in kindergarten, they wanted to actually take away his IEP. And I said, wait, there's other things going on here. And I really advocated for my child in this case because I said, look, we need to actually bring this forward and keep doing, I need to keep him in special education because there's something else going on. And they listened, this is something that is very important to me. So in terms of working with the district office specifically, a lot of my experiences are really on the personal level and having these issues that are on the personal level and just really making sure that my child and my children were receiving the supports they needed for their educational needs, as well as working with other parents who were going through similar challenges and coaching them through their IEP meetings and things that they could talk about and advocate for their children as well, so that their children would receive the services that they needed to be successful at that level that they were capable of being successful. And so it's really on the personal level. However, just based on my professional experience and other work that I have done, I have, brought issues to other places as well beyond just in the school system.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
Kim, we want to thank you for your time. We want to thank you for applying. That's the end of the questions that we have for tonight.
Great.
Just full transparency, it's going to be ballpark 7:30, 7:45-ish before we even get to a vote. Okay.
No problem. And just in terms of protocol, am I allowed can I stay and listen to the other candidates, or is it? No.
Yeah, you can say now.
Okay, great.
We have two more questions, I think, actually.
Oh,
So
no problem.
Susie, you had a question? So yeah, so sorry, Kim.
No worries.
Yes, hello, Kim. Sorry about that. I just wanted to find out if you believe you are an independent person and if you succumb to pressures from others in a working environment.
I'm a very independent individual. Um, this is actually some of the places that I've bumped up against, even advocating for things, problem solving within the work environment, where I have had managers or peers who believed one way and I had another sort of idea. And I'm like, wait, no, this is not going to be the solution for us going forward. This is something we need to reconsider this and go back to the table. I stand very firmly in my values. My two primary values are integrity and trust. So I work to make sure that I sit in my integrity. I do not want to step out of that. And I make sure that I am solid in my own belief system and my grounding. I am always open to listening. And if I hear a rational, probable reason to make adjustments to my beliefs, I will take that in and I'll grapple with it. And if I do need to make an adjustment, I will. But I am very firm in who I am.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Heather, one last question, Kim, sorry.
No, of course, of course.
It's just basically a yes or no question. Have you ever attended a CCHS meeting?
I have not attended, well, actually, I may have. I'm just trying to remember all of the meetings that I had attended last year, and they were probably some that I have attended.
Great, thank you. We understand everyone's got a million meetings in DOE land, right?
Yes, and I am just now, for some reason, it's all kind of clicking in terms of, oh, wait, this is what this does, and this is what this does, and getting it all pieced together. So thank you.
Again, Kim, thank you so much. Really appreciate you
Of course.
applying and all your advocacy that you have and will be doing in the future. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. All right. Yeah, Rose, could you let Cindy in? Good evening. Good evening, Cindy. How are you?
Hi, good evening. I'm good,
Good.
thank you.
Good evening. So Cindy, I just want to go over a couple of things just so you know what's going to happen tonight. We are interviewing you for the Citywide Council of High Schools. It's one of the positions that CCSE gets to appoint. And so we have 5 candidates we're interviewing tonight. Each candidate's going to get approximately 10 minutes. We're going to give you 2 minutes to do an introduction and talk about yourself. We do have your application, and they gave us I think it's the first 2 pages, or page 3 and 4. It's the one that lets us know that you have children in the DOE, and then gives your candidate statement. So we have those 2 pages, and that tells us a little bit about you, but we certainly want to know a little bit more about you. And then we've got 5 questions we're going to ask you. And one second, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. And Susie, if you need interpretation, please let us know. Interpretation is completely good to use. So otherwise, we will ask away. But we'll start. And first of all, thank you for applying. We really appreciate you stepping up and stepping out. It's always a risk throwing yourself out into the fire, so to speak, but really appreciate you doing that. So thank you. And for all the candidates, it takes a lot of guts to step up. So thank you.
Thank you.
So 2 minutes, why don't you talk about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Chen, and I'm very honored to be here. To why I hope to serve as the CCSE representative on the Citywide Council of High School. Yeah, I am an immigrant to the U.S. in 2006 while I was pregnant with my daughter, Grace. And during the pregnancy, doctor discovered she had a heart tumor, and later she was diagnosed with tuberous sclerosis, a condition that caused her tumors with multiple organs. Because of language barrier and miscommunication with the hospital, Grace was temporarily placed in foster care. After months and working with ACS and the Corps, she finally came home at 7 months old. So today, Grace is 19 years old and attend a District 75 program at John F. Kennedy Junior School, where she received speech, occupational, and PT. But even with those support, many families struggle to ensure service are provided consistently. I also have a younger daughter with ADHD and a 504 plan. I understand, the range of challenging family faces special education. Also, I would like to talk about my work. In my work as a family support coordinator with the Chinese American Planning Council, I've helped hundreds of families access services, understand their rights, and communicate effectively with the school, OPWD, Medicaid applications. I've also worked with the fair called Family Advocating for Individual Rights for empower parents and advocate for better support for their family and communities. Yes, that's all about a little myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Appreciate that. So we've got 5 questions for you.
Mhm.
So sorry about that, but want to really try to learn what we can before we have a vote. So, and just to give you a heads up, our guess is the vote's going to be somewhere 7:30, 7:45, because we do have 3 other candidates after you, and we had 1 prior to you. So just want to give you a framework. You can stay, you can go and come back, you can just leave. It's up to you, however you want to do it. We will notify you after it happens or live. Take your pick. First question though, who's got first question? Okay.
Hey Sydney, could you give us a brief rundown of why you want to be part of the CCHS as a representative of the CCSE?
Yes, I would like to, I see a lot of system and services are very overwhelming, especially for the new immigrant families. I've served for many families. They are have many challenges, include like IEPs, apply like a communication with the schools, also advocating for their services. Even have like a busing issue for my daughter also like lately she like several weeks she doesn't have a bus driver. So yeah, it causes so many challenges to a family.
That busing is always a challenge. I apologize. Sorry, Cindy. It's Ron, Heather, and I were talking about the busing challenges just a few minutes before we started, and busing is always a challenge. So Heather's comment, if you didn't hear, it's the same conversation we've been having for the last 5 years, and really you could go back to the last 40 years with the DOE and probably even more. But
Yes. Yeah,
no,
also
thank
with
you.
also with my daughter, even in the school have like a not enough staff, like a short nurse. There's no trip nurse. Also, my daughter have a 1 year, only have a one-time attend trip. So as you know, in the high school student, they need a lot of life experience go into the community, and she cannot because the school doesn't have enough nurse to support her.
Thank you. The next question, who's got question 2? Question 2? Susie, you got it?
Hello. What do you think is the important issue affecting special education and what you are going to do to impact it if you are on the CCHS based on what your position entails?
Yes. Thank you for the question. For my self, I feel like will be advocate stronger for the transition planning, especially in the high school. So after high school, they will go to the real life. So also, we would like to work on like the speech OTPT. So a lot of kids don't have the services. Also, we just talk about reliable transportation. Also, clear communication between school and family, especially for non-speaking English families, parents.
Thank you. Question 3. Who's got question 3? Ron's got question 3.
Cindy.
Okay.
So can you provide an example of a time where you represent the issue pertaining to the IEP community and how you navigate the space of DOE, a school, district office toward a solution? And what was the outcome of that?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, for the I was I don't know how to I was like IEP parent support. So if I have a family request for the IEP meeting, I will provide the suggestion. We also will sit down together to review their child's current IEP. If the progress is make the progress or not. So if not, we will discussion with parents what we can advocate for that. We need to write down more information why their kids need more support because in the during the school day they did not have any progress. So we will support the family. Also, we will also I have a family apply for OPWDD like every step. I will discuss with them, like see what step they are, then what services they receive. At their current level is like service or not. Yeah, I feel it's need more communication with the school between the parents, so it will be make it more easy for family. I'm sorry. It's
No,
I
that's-
answer your questions or not.
no, that was great. Thank you. Question for Susie.
Yes. Do you consider yourself independent? And do you succumb to pressures from others?
No, so that's my passion. I would like to help family as same situation as same as my job. I work with the Chinese American Parenting Council, the family support coordinator. So work all the special needs families.
Okay, thank you. And our last question for you from Heather. Heather?
It's an easy question. Have you ever attended a CCHS meeting?
Yes, I do. It was in the virtual. I was attend.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Cindy, again, as I said at the beginning, thank you for applying and putting yourself out there. Really appreciate it and really appreciate your service to the community you provide today. So thank you so
for the
much.
opportunity. Thank you.
Susie, you can hang around, you can come back, you can get off whatever, sign off, whatever you prefer. Cindy. Yeah, yeah. So thank you. Really appreciate it. Okay, Rose, to our next interviewee, Karina Garcia.
Unfortunately, she can't join us this evening.
Okay. All right.
Next candidate has not joined us yet.
Okay, and that is Raquel Wilkes.
Lawrence, and she's on schedule to come at 6:45.
Okay, so we are early, so they did not lose their position. We have their information. They applied, so they are still, there's just no questions that we can ask the other two candidates. And so we have two candidates, Karina and Raquel, who are not on or here, and that is their choice. They are still candidates. When we go to vote, they are still the candidates. The next, yes, the next is Carrie Thorenson. And we starting with 6:45, but she's here early, so we can bring her in. Okay. Hi, Carrie. This is first of all, welcome. Thank you for coming and thank you for applying for the Citywide Council and High School position appointed by CCSE. Really appreciate you applying, stepping up, stepping out. It takes a lot to do that and very appreciative. So I just want to give you a quick rundown. We have 5 candidates for this position. You are our fifth candidate for the interview process. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 2 minutes to talk, to just introduce yourself. We've got the information, two of the pages. She's on, Carrie's on. We've got two of the pages, one that just gives us basic information. It says you've got someone in the DOE as a student, and then the second page is your candidate information that you provided, your candidate statement. And so every council member's looked at that, but want to know a little bit more than just what's on the paper about you. So we'd like to give you 2 minutes to just talk about yourself. And then we've got 5 questions for you. And then after that, just so you understand what's going to happen, then we're going to be adjourning the special meeting. We will then start up our calendar meeting. We've got some things we have to go through first. And then we've got DOE presenters and stuff. And then we'll get to the vote. My guess is the vote's somewhere around 7:30, 7:45. It could be a little earlier or later. We just wanted to give you full transparency. Carrie's on camera, yes. Rose, can you? Yeah, okay. All right, Carrie, so you've got 2 minutes to introduce yourselves. Welcome, and again, thank you for applying. I know it's not easy to step up like that, and really appreciate you doing that.
Great, thank you. I'm Kari Thorstensen, and I'm happy to be applying for the to be on the council. I'm going to try not to duplicate what's in my statement, but I may, because it's been a while since I looked at that. I have a son who is at the High School of Environmental Studies. He's in a junior, and you know, part of my interest in being on the council is that the high school process of applying for schools is just, it seems so monumental and fraught and kind of random. And my son is at a school that is a great school, and I'm impressed with the teachers, and I'm impressed with the curriculum, and I'm impressed with how the school creates cohesion amongst students from many, many different backgrounds. And I feel that right now we're in a spot where there's a lot of tensions in the world, and there's funding issues for education, especially for special education. And I want to be supporting the schools. So that's sort of my interest in helping out on the council. And my background is I'm a tech person. I've worked in the tech industry for most of my career, starting out at Microsoft in Seattle before I moved to New York. And I've had several startups that I've been involved with that have been successful. I'm currently on my 3rd startup, which is a health tech company. And just my background in tech, I'm used to working with teams, and I do a lot of leading the product development. So I work with large, diverse teams of folks. And
Carrie, time
Yeah.
is up, so you could just sum up your last sentence, please.
Okay, so I'm used to working with teams and moving, you know, progressing with to a goal with folks.
Great, thank you. Thank you. First question? Who's got the first question? Heather?
I can ask. Hi, Carrie. Could you give us a brief rundown of why you want to be a part of the CCHS as the representative from the CCSE?
Well, mainly because of the positive experience that I've had with our high school. And I would like all of the high schools in New York to be able to excel as much as I think my son's school has excelled. I think there's a lot of really good schools, and I feel that right now, with things that are going on with funding, with tech advancements, that I can contribute in supporting the school. You know, what a big concern for me is, how is AI going to impact education, and how do we keep the core the core value of what we teach, which I think is creativity and executive function when you start introducing AI, which the kids are all exposed to.
Sorry about that.
Great.
What,
Thank you.
what do you think is the important issue affecting special education and what you are going to do to impact it if you are on CCHS based on what your position entails?
For special education, I mean, a big concern to me right now is the federal funding for special education and how that will impact the capabilities of the New York City schools to provide special education resources.
Okay, thank you. Third question, Ron?
Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Can you provide an example of a time where you represent an issue pertaining to the IEP community and how you navigate the space of DOE, a school, district office, toward a solution? And what was the outcome of that?
Well, I don't know that I presented an issue to the community, but in my own experience with my son, we felt that he was not performing at the same level of his peers when he was in second grade. We mentioned it to his teacher and she sort of dismissed us. And that was it for second grade. In third grade, we mentioned it again to his third grade teacher, and she immediately said, yes, I recognize that. And she put him into the process of getting an evaluation. I didn't know there was even a process for getting an evaluation, right? So my son didn't get any intervention in second grade because his teacher wasn't interested in even validating our concerns. So I think one of the things is in understanding and visibility for parents, that what are the services that are available and what is the process and what are their rights in getting at least an evaluation for their child. And I think that is an issue, and it really depends on the individual teacher and the individual schools. Once he went through the evaluation process, I was very impressed with how thorough it was. And in the elementary school, they really stepped up and provided him all the services that his IEP recommended. As he got older, those services have not been as strong. And in high school, it's pretty weak.
Thank you.
Do you consider yourself to be independent, and do you succumb to pressures from others?
I do consider myself to be independent. I don't think pressures from others, but I do have experience working on various boards. I was on my church board. So I do have experience working with people who have different opinions and having discussions and coming to consensus on key issues. So I wouldn't say that I'm easily swayed, but I don't think I'm too stubborn either to listen to other people and adapt my thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last question, Heather?
It's an easy question. I just wanted to know if you've attended a CCHS meeting.
I did attend one last spring. So
Okay.
I think the topic at that time, the topic at that one was a presentation from the restorative justice, is it called, folks, on
Yes.
and how they do with discipline. So
Okay, great.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
accurate.
Great. And again, Carrie, thank you so much for applying and putting yourself out there. We really appreciate it. And thank you for your
great,
service.
thanks.
So you can stay, you can go, you can come back. We're probably ballpark half an hour away before we get to the voting process.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful one. And for all of our candidates, thank you again for applying. Thank you for stepping up to serve your community. It is appreciated. It takes a lot to do that, and so grateful for each of you for doing that. At this point, we are done with the special meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn the special meeting?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
Second?
Aye.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, okay, opposed, abstained, all right. So we are adjourned from the special meeting. We next have the calendar meeting. So everyone ready to start the calendar? We need a second. All right, let's get going with the calendar meeting. So thank you, everybody. Again, it is Thursday, October 16th. It is 6:55 p.m. We are now starting the Citywide Council on Special Education's calendar meeting for the month of October, which is flying quickly. Interpreters, sorry to do it to you again, but could you please introduce yourselves and your services? Why don't we flip it up? Mandarin, could you start with
Sure.
introducing your service, please, Mandarin?
大家晚上好，中文电话是347966411，然后输入会议的 ID 是
We can't hear you, Mandarin. I'm sorry. Yeah, we still can't hear. We'll come back to you, Mandarin. We'll go to Spanish and see if we can get it working. So the Spanish interpreter, could you introduce yourself and your service, please?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
we are LIS Interpreting and hola, buenas noches, somos de LIS. La línea de interpretación del español es 347-966-4114. Para poder escuchar tienen que colocar el número de ID 836-183-377 seguido de la tecla numeral. Gracias.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it. In Spanish interpreter, could you please put your contact info and how they people our audience can access your service one more time, just in case someone new came on, so they can see it as well. Appreciate that.
Sure, I'm going to put it in the chat so you can go on with the reunion.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Mandarin interpreter, sorry about that earlier. If you could please introduce your service. Thank you, Mandarin.
Thank you for your patience. Good evening. The following message will be in Mandarin. 大家晚上好，中文翻译的电话是34796641114，然后输入会议 ID 81874135井号键。再说一遍，中文翻译的电话是34796641114，然后会议的 ID 是81874135井号键。谢谢。Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mandarin interpreter, and appreciate your patience working through that. And again, if you could also put your contact info in the chat box one more time, really would appreciate that. All right, Rose, it is time for a roll call. Can you please do roll call, Rose?
Francesca,
Present.
Dr. Sinai, Joan, Heather. Here. Mark,
Present.
Dr. Melissa, Ron,
Present.
Present.
Lucy,
Present.
Irene is excused.
All right, we are still at quorum. Thank you, everybody. We have Suzanne Sanchez, who's the Chief of Special Education on, and Johanna, oh, I see you as well. Excellent. Thank you, Johanna and Suzanne, for coming. We wanted to let the Office of Special Education give their update on what's going on. After that, we will change things up a little bit and open up the public comment. So if anyone has any questions for Office of Special Education or just public comment in general, we will open it up for public comment at that point. Then we will move on to the rest of our agenda and then do public comment again and at the end of the calendar meeting. So we'll have 2 rounds of public comment if anyone chooses. All right, so Johanna, Suzanne, the floor is yours, please. Welcome.
Suzanne, I don't know if you want to go before me, as I will share a lot of announcements and updates, but I want to give our Chief Suzanne Sanchez if she wants to address the CCSE.
Oh, thank you so much, Johanna, and thank you, CCSE, for having us tonight. We are going to share a few brief special education office announcements. We know you have your voting and some council business to get to, so we won't take too much time this evening, but we did want to share some updates with you, and I'm going to turn that over to Johanna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne. So I will drop everything that I'm about to share in the chat. So everything I'm saying, I will drop links or I will provide, there's one that I think has a form, but just wanted to make everyone aware that I'll talk first, and then after I finish speaking, I'll share links. So the first one is our Weekend Academy seed launch. Invitation letters to the after-school weekend sites were sent to 20,000 families with a home language of English via email during the week of October 7th. Another 1,270 invitations are being mailed by the CSEs, which are our committees on special education. The invitation letters are being translated currently into the covered languages for another 1,300 families. We have an Apple update. Over 550 iPads were prepared, packaged, and sent out for students via courier service. This was a great collaboration between the AT Central team and 721M staff and students who are being work trained. There has been a change in our D75 leadership. For more than 38 years working in New York City public schools, including serving as D75 superintendent for 10 years. Kettler Lewison's last day as superintendent will be October 24th, 2025. Superintendent Lewison's legacy is one of unwavering dedication and equity and inclusion and possibility. District 75 is stronger and more connected and more responsive because of the vision and care, and we thank Superintendent Lewison for his invaluable contributions. And we are welcoming Dr. Keisha McCoy to the role of acting superintendent for District 75. Dr. McCoy has 18 years of experience in District 75 and has served as principal at Sid Miller in Brooklyn for over 7 years. And beginning October 25th, she will step into the role of acting superintendent for District 75. We will conduct the C37 superintendent hiring process. We look forward to actively engaging with the D75 community throughout this process and will notify you once the appointment is made. And our upcoming Beyond Access, I know a lot of you did log in for the Beyond Access series last month when I conducted it last month. This month, we are not having Beyond Access, so I wanted to note that because I know in my last Zoom I said this month, we moved it to November 17th. Our Beyond Access series will be Monday, November 17th, via Zoom from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the topic will be helping students stay focused and managing big emotions. Parents and families and anyone are welcome. We are going to learn how to recognize signs of attention and emotional regulation challenges in students. We will drop the form to register for the Zoom link. We welcome anyone to join our live Zoom. It also is recorded, and so on our YouTube channel, you will see all our Beyond Access series, probably 24 hours to 48 hours after the actual Zoom. So if parents miss it, we have our Beyond Access YouTube link, which I will also drop in the chat as well. This Sunday is our disability, not ours, but is the Disabilities Pride Parade. It's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The parade lineup is at 10 a.m. where it's going to be at Madison Square Park. We will march 10 blocks. That is important as people think we stay stagnant. We march 10 blocks. Students, families, and schools are invited to join us to march in this year's parade. This parade is going to use the tagline, Love Unites. We're all in this together. We'll be marching as one large New York City public school system under the banner of inclusive schools. We will march with District 75, all districts, and 400 plus students, families, and staff.
I will also drop the form if you would like to join us to register. This year, in honor of the parade's 10th anniversary, we're taking a vibrant throwback in time and celebrating the past, present, and future of our culture, creativity, and inclusion. So we're really, really excited. And after the parade, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be a block party in Union Square, which was a lot of fun last year. And Disability Unite Festival, there's a pop-up as well. So you're welcome to stay once the parade is over. The last but not least is our Transition Summit, which will take place on Saturday, November 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will take place in John Jay College on West 59th Street. I will also drop the link for that form. And thank you, Mark, for uplifting the inconsistencies and all the flyers that are going out. I will drop the right form. After this, registration is encouraged only because we want to make sure that we have enough things for the people that will join us that day. And so we're really excited for this Transition Summit because we are hosting it alongside SUNY. And at this summit, we will empower students with interactive workshops, one-on-one consultation with families, information and resources to equip families with knowledge and support that they need for transition planning. So we're really, really excited for this. I will drop the information again after I'm done speaking, but I'm looking forward to seeing you all at all these amazing events that we are having. Stay tuned. There is a lot more. I only shared a couple today, the biggest ones that are coming up this fall, but there are more to come in the spring as well. So thank you so much, Mark, for having us.
Johanna, Suzanne, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for our community. I appreciate it. Since we're on calendar roll, I'm gonna toss in a few more calendar items that happen in between those two. So Disability Pride Parade is this Sunday. On the 28th of this month, the PEP has the Pupil Transportation Committee meeting at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So PEP is really focused on transportation, which has been great. They actually have a resolution coming up at their PEP meeting the next day on the 29th. The PEP will be on the west upper what is it, 50th Street? I guess it's West 50th Street, 555 West 50th, I believe it is. PEP has a meeting though on the 29th. They have a bunch of different things going on that relate to special education. So just so everyone is aware, they have a resolution actually opposing a 5-year contract for busing. That is a big deal. There were people somewhere within government, we'll say, who wanted to do a 5-year contract on busing, and we know how bad the busing situation is right now. So PEP has a resolution opposing the 5-year contract consideration, which is great. So really appreciate PEP for stepping up. Along with that, there is a bunch of related service contracts that are up for bid, which are really important because we need our OTs, we need our PTs, we need our speech, we need our paras. It is critical. So that is actually agenda item number 1 is the related services. There is some additional agenda items going on as well for additional DOE lawyers, which, we need lawyers so we can actually get through these impartial hearings. However they get seldom solved, we need families to be able to get a resolution. So it's important that there is actually additional lawyers involved, and that is also, I think it's number 14 for lawyers, and there's one other special education thing. So there's a lot of stuff in that PEP. Again, that PEP meeting is on the 29th, the pupil transportation on the 28th. On the 30th, right across the park from where we are today, is the Committee on Education City Council hearing. So they have some D75 stuff going on and 2 other resolutions. There's 3 topics going on. Again, that is the 30th of October, 1 p.m. at City Hall. And then November 3rd, there is our legislative committee will have their first meeting. So that'll be November 3rd at 7 p.m. on Zoom. November 4th is the city-wide election going on. And then, of course, we end with November 8th with the Transition Summit. So it is a very busy 3 weeks of a lot of meetings, a lot of events going on, and a lot of educated related stuff. And then November 6th, we have our next council meeting. to toss in there. So there is a whole bunch of stuff going on in the next 3 months for everyone to be aware of. Now that I've yapped forever, and I apologize everyone for jumping in on Calendar City. Let's go back to public comment, or go to public comment. Are there any questions, comments to the DOE staff that is here or to council? So I'm going to open up public comment for the first time. There'll be a second time at the end of the calendar meeting, but anyone for public comment? Raise your virtual hand if you've got anything. All right, I will jump in then. Johanna, you said there's 550 iPads that were allocated and sent out. What is the waiting list, or does that cover all the waiting, or where do we stand
Yeah.
on that?
I can speak to that, Mark, and
Thank
just
you,
some,
Suzanne.
of course, just some context for folks that the New York City's contract with Apple has been not active or inactive since last March of 25. So as a city, we have not been able to buy Apple products since last March. So we have had quite a backlog. Approximately 2,600 students have been awaiting iPads or Apple devices. So really glad to say the first 500 and change went out. Next week, the next 500 and change will go out, and by the end of October, we will not have a waiting list of Apple products anymore. And so we appreciate everyone's patience. I do want to share that our school's chancellor put all of her weight behind getting this contract signed and registered by the comptroller's office in record time. And we have been working behind the scenes with Apple to get the order shipped as soon as the contract was inked. So we are moving as quickly as possible. We also have a procession activity for our AT staff because they are basically working around the clock to prepare devices that came in and ship them right out. So if anybody knows of a family who is waiting for an Apple product, please feel free to reach out to Johanna, but I can assure you that we are moving through the list as quickly as possible. One note, we have prioritized students waiting for Apple products who use the product for AAC, Augmented Assistive Communication. So any student who's been awaiting an iPad to communicate has been prioritized on the list, so to speak, and that's where we're starting first.
Great, makes a lot of sense.
Of course, of course.
With the Apple back on track, the mayor and chancellor announced last month 350,000 devices going out to students. We heard there was a few levels of students that we're going to be focused on first. Have we heard anything yet about students with disability, if they have a priority on there or not?
We have not, Mark, and we're continuing to follow up on that. Johanna, the person there is Nadia on Shaquille on the DIIT's team. Because what was relayed to me recently was that those Chromebooks are being distributed in smaller batches. So they're not coming out, quote, all at once. And yeah, so we will continue to work on finding out information about that, and we'll share an update via email next week.
Great, thank you. All right, Susie, you got one?
Hi, how are you, Suzanne? Very nice to see you again.
Good to see you. We've switched places, huh? You're there and I'm not
Exactly.
tonight, so.
Exactly. I was just going to ask, I don't know if things have changed now with the DOE. Are they going to be not only providing the schools with the devices again, the Apple products, and will they be replacing any defective items, or is that going to be the onus on each school?
Yeah, so that's thank you for that question. Typically that's a school by school. So let me back up. If it is an assistive technology device that's recommended on a student's IEP, our central assistive technology team works to replace or fix sometimes a device. So if it's recommended on the IEP, the assistive technology team works to fix it. If it is if it is programmatic, meaning it's not necessarily on the child's IEP, that is handled by the school to replace or provide a new device.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Anyone in the audience? All right, Suzanne, Johanna, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
you
having
for-
us. See you next month.
We hope to see some folks out of the upcoming events, and please, Beyond Access is going to be a great one in November, and we appreciate. I would like to just quickly, if I may say, Mark and Maggie, very much appreciate the support of this council, and with the recent activities in the federal government, it feels like we need each other more and more. And want you to know that despite any changes there, we are as committed as ever, as is our chancellor, to ensure students with disabilities continue to be front and center and receive the services that they need. And nothing is changing from our perspective. And we need you, you need us, and let's just keep working together because we got to be together on all of this. So thank you for everything that you're doing, and we will be in touch. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Maggie, very much.
We heard you,
Appreciate
we
it.
heard you over here. You can.
Yeah, we're all in this together and appreciate all your service to all of our students and families. Thank you. And for all the community members also stepping up, we really appreciate it. And those that can't, who are just trying to get by, we're with you as well. All right. We are now at time for the next agenda item, which is the CCHS candidates. So want to go over what was transpired earlier, just so everyone's aware. We had 5 candidates who applied for the CCHS role. That is a position that ends on June 30th of 27. It is a role that they would be on the CCHS council as our appointee. They are not an actual member on this council, but they are appointee, and we would be interfacing with them to keep up to date on what is going on in CCHS and vice versa, keeping them up to date what's going on in CCSE. So we had 5 candidates that were amazing to step up and throw themselves in the ring, and very appreciative to each and every one of those candidates. We had 3 of them who were able to make interviews tonight. The other 2 were not available. I know we had one who had a personal reason they weren't able to attend, and we had another one who wasn't able to make it either. But they are still, all 5 are still active candidates, and we have the bios on each of them. Or at least their candidate statements, probably not a bio, but their candidate statements. And it is really appreciated. I mean, I will say in full transparency, I am so appreciative to each and every one of those 5 candidates. I think they're all amazing. The thing that stinks is that we can only do one. And that's just the reality of the situation. There's one appointee and it's not 5. If we had 5, I think all 5 of them were each brought a unique, different skill, looking over and hearing from them today and looking over their candidate statements. Each bring a different skill, different mindset, a different set of experiences, which frankly, all are helpful. But we're at the point where we can only do one. So we're at that point where, we'll open it up for discussion, and then after discussion, we'll have a motion to vote. How it's going to happen from a vote standpoint is Rose will go roll call, and she'll call on each individual council member. They will name the one candidate that they are voting for. So you just say their name. We will go around the list of council members. If we get to 6, then that or more, that individual is selected. If we do not get to 6, then we can vote to go to a second round and vote again. If we so choose, we can go to a 3rd round, 4th round, etc. We decide if we want to go further. If we do it on the first one, golden. Transparency. In the past, we've had first vote we've got. In the past, we've also had the first vote, second vote, third vote, haven't got. It's just how it is, when you've got, especially in this, so many qualified candidates, it makes it challenging. So I want to open it up for discussion first, and then we'll ask for a motion to vote. So for discussion, does anyone have anything they'd like to share and comment on? Please use the mic. Just hold down the button when you talk, please.
So my question is, for the candidate, they can be a D75 parent, or it doesn't matter? Or it could be, also student has a IEP, and it could be either or it has to be, we prefer it in the,
So for the CCHS role, the requirement is they have to have a high school student with an IEP. So that's the requirement. They can be D75, they can be D1 through 32. All D79 as well. All those districts are fine as long as it's DOE district and a high school student. We do have another open position within the CCSE, which I'd encourage any and all of those candidates that are not selected today, please apply. It is a CCSE position for D75 though. It is that one specifically for D75, so you have to be a D75 parent for that position. We do have one applicant at this time. We do need to call, and we'll deal with that later, a special meeting to interview candidates for that role as well. But I just want to put that out there. So,
because one of the candidates here are a D75 parent also. That's why I was asking the question.
yep. Right, any other questions, comments, thoughts, or do we want to move to, or is there a motion to move to voting? If we need a motion to vote? What's that?
A motion to move to vote for a candidate?
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second to move to a vote? Thank you, Heather. Correct. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Heather.
So can I motion to discuss?
Okay, we have a motion to discuss.
I second that.
Okay. So
And
please,
these are public discussions, right?
yes, it is public discussions. There's nothing among us. These candidates all put themselves out in the open, and that's like, it's tough. But I'm so grateful for each and every one of them for stepping up. It is it's a process, and very appreciative to each and every one of them. So discussions?
Okay, I'd like to, there was something that stood out to me when candidate Ms. Kim was speaking and looking over her application and her statement. This is something that's very interesting to me. Mentoring with the BCS robotics team and coaching a first Lego League team. Legos are so big in the, for a lot of students with disabilities and the learning. It's just incredible. And that's just great to hear that she's doing some mentoring as well. And I tell you, the Lego Leagues are just really taking off so well. And that's not even just impacting high schoolers. It's elementary, and it really is outstanding to see what they are doing and teaching emotions and all that. It's just wonderful. So that was a standout to me.
Okay, thank you, Susie. Any other discussion points? Heather?
I think outside of the answers to the questions, my real concern is knowing kind of how the CCHS functions as a body of people who are already seated on that council, and really picking a candidate that I'm just gonna be blunt, is not gonna let them bully them at the table, and really be able to bring the voice of our students to the table in a way that can be heard. I was actually really impressed with Cindy's her advocacy work, especially in the English language learning community, and her really what appears to be passionate ties to her community and helping parents understand and navigate the process. However, I also know that CCHS is going to be much less patient with some of the language access issues and things like that, as we've seen in the past. So it's nothing against her. It's really a reflection of the CCHS and their lack of compassion for people who English isn't their first language. And their lack of compassion for students with disabilities. So I just want to highlight that I was really impressed with her interview. But I just think they're gonna make her struggle there, unfortunately. And that concerns me. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that to the table. But like I said, I think all of the candidates were presented really well. There's a couple that stand out for me that when we vote, I'll, make my things known. I also want to notate, like, Karina was not able to be here. Karina almost never misses a CCSE meeting. If anybody is involved in any part of the special education, anything, you have met Karina. And so I just want to put it out there that even though she wasn't able to attend, she's a fierce advocate. And so I just want to highlight that. I don't know the other candidate at all, so I can't speak on Raquel, but those are my opinions, and thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
I just want to say, I just want to piggyback off what Heather said. I just want to piggyback off of what Heather said as well, that second language may be a barrier on that committee, and she may be a very good advocate, and someone may not have the patience just to try to hear what she's trying to say, and she may be explaining it to the T, and and not being given the chance to be able to advocate, so that's one of the downfalls for what we going through nowadays, so, and it's sad.
Thank you. Additional comments, discussion, Ron?
Yeah, so for the candidate Cindy, I also had an impression about her personal experience, like Heather just mentioned about the new immigrant experience, that all she has been through, and she has pretty much experience in different matters, like the new immigrants, like the AEP meeting that she assists with others, and all the community support she had in her community-based office, like the OPWDD, and then she also has some personal experience, bad experience about the busing issue. So I think she have pretty much personal passion to understand the different matters.
Great, thank you, Ron. Maggie?
Thanks, Dave. I also want to emphasize that we do have the District 75 position open here in this council. Our concern and our experience last term in the past has been that not so good for our representatives in the CCHS council that require interpretation, require the compassion in that council. Here we strive to make to be accessible and have as much as language justice as possible, but that hasn't been our experience in the past with that with our members that have gone there. So I do want to highlight that we do have that position open for District 75, and yeah, I do understand what you're saying, Ron, because I've been there, done that. I know what it's like, so for sure. But yeah, it's a tough task to be in that environment, unfortunately. But I also want to highlight mm, going back to what Susie was saying about Kim, I do I did like her answers to the some of the responses to the questions. I think that they were poignant, and I think that all of the candidates, but please, like, you guys were all wonderful and professional and prepared. It's just a lot of the things that Kim mentioned connected with me personally. So thank you. If anybody else wants to.
Any other discussion?
Yes, I'm gonna say something
Susie?
else too. Yes, because I did, I think it was important just to kind of find out initially people's response in terms to succumbing to pressures from outside sources, people, which can create challenges. And it's important that we do find that candidate, that right person that has that confidence and that level of professionalism to carry through and to be able to still perform and work well with others. And I was hearing that answer from Miss Kim. She very confident, strong advocator, psychologist, really, really good. And I also appreciated hearing from Carrie as well, because also another really strong, independent, parent, and that really stood out to me as well. I'm sure she was sleepless in Seattle. She's definitely traveled. And I also appreciated hearing from Cindy as well too, but it does stand out to me, the reality of what the position entails and that type of pressure. And making sure that we're really selecting wisely, so that way when we do select the right individual that can take on the case, we don't have to worry about burnout, anxiety, or anything of those of that nature. And we're just bringing in someone that can perform, and we don't have to worry about having to possibly replace a little later down the road. So I'm just kind of looking at the big picture. Hopefully we can do that. But I definitely thank all of the candidates. You guys are beautiful, strong parents, mothers. So we definitely thank you for your time today.
Heather?
I just want to note to the candidates that are still online, if for some reason we don't appoint you to the CCHS, you are always welcome to come to our meetings. And once we get our committees up and running, come and join us some of our committees and work with our council as well. The more the merrier. It really does take an army to help parents navigate the special education system here. And in this term, there's a little bit more focus too on doing some more macro level advocacy work at the state level. And now it looks like we might even need some federal advocacy as well. And so we're always looking for parents that are able to help in those capacities, even be able to come with some of our members to Albany to talk to legislators and things like that. So just don't think because you're not appointed that there's not a place for you here. There absolutely is.
The window opens.
Ron?
Yeah, I agree with Heather was said. So even though, so to me, these 5 candidates they're so strong and they have experience, they have knowledge. And very basic points, we are all parents, especially with special education. Even though tonight you are not selected, but we are family. So if you have some ideas, some thought, we are the army. So just send your thought or ideas to email to us and let us know, and then we can work together.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
All right, one last thing. I don't know if you remember, Karina Garcia, one of the candidates. I know she couldn't be here, but she's always giving comments. She's always asking questions. She's always involved in the community. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. And her application as well. There are a lot of points there that you can look at and kind of highlight. So yeah, just wanted to make that note again.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion? All right, I'll comment at the end before we maybe move on to the next steps. Again, I want to thank each of those 5 candidates. I mean, it takes a lot to apply. It takes a lot to step up, and you're all stepping up in each of your ways, and it is really appreciated. Kim, you started off this discussion. You talked about FAPE. You talked about IDEA. You know, the whole adventure with pre-K. And really appreciate your feedback there. Cindy, you're advocating for parents on an ongoing basis, work you're doing, helping with OPWDD, transition planning you commented on, the busing adventures. You know, you really it resonated with me as well. And Carrie, you know, you talked about that second grade challenge and being dismissed, and that happens so often. And I had a case today of a parent who had some similar that way, older unfortunately, which makes it even harder because it's harder as you get older to really impact. Thank goodness you were able to continue advocating for your child, and by 3rd grade you got some support happening. And as you mentioned, that support often dwindles and sometimes too fast. You know, that middle school, you still do need it. High school, you still may need it. There's an incentive to cease services before they really should be ceased. And sometimes it's the parent who wants to do it, sometimes the DOE who wants to do it, sometimes it's the student who wants to do it, but we always want to make sure we are sticking with what really the student needs and not what necessarily any of those groups want. It's the needs, because ultimately, you know, the IDEA is about making sure that students are ready for, call it the real world after. And so that resonated. And I think, you know, Karina, I've known Karina as well for a number of years in the educational sphere. She brings also a lot of different perspectives as well. And Raquel, I learned about her through her bio. I wasn't familiar with her, but, you know, really appreciate her stepping up. I mean, ultimately, we're gonna have to make a choice of a one individual. It's not fair because honestly, we have 5 great candidates, but that's the way it is. And for each of you candidates out there, thank you. I've got my contact info in the chat. Please take it. If you need anything, reach out. If you want to keep in touch, I'd love to keep in contact with each of you. You all inspire me, and love to keep in touch. Like positions open up on CCSE, positions open up on CCHS, positions open up on your other CECs. You know, continue being involved. PEP meetings coming up on the 30th. Keep involved. You started the process. I'd love to see you continue, and love to keep in touch as well. So thank you. All right, are we at a point? Is there a motion to end discussion? Or is there further discussion necessary?
I motion to end the discussion.
Is there a second to end discussion? All in favor? All right, opposed, abstain? All right. Now, do we have a motion to vote for our CCHS representative? Is there a motion to vote for CCHS representative?
To start the voting for the CCHS.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Rose is going to do roll call. Again, when your name is chosen or called by Rose, please select the one candidate that you are voting for the CCHS position. So one name only, please, per council member.
Sorry, Mark, so that includes all the candidates at hand, right?
All 5
All
candidates
5.
are running. Rose will name each council member. Rose is also keeping tally. Remember, we got to get to 6 on a single individual.
Francesca,
Karina Garcia,
Joan, Heather,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Mark,
Kim Bernie Brook,
Dr. Melissa,
Karina de Garcia.
Ron,
Cindy Chan.
Maggie,
Karina Garcia.
all
and
right.
Susie.
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Do I have majority in the first round?
We do not. So in the first round, Karina Garcia had 4. Kim Bernie Brook had 3, and Cindy Chen had 1. So that closes the first vote. Is there a motion to vote again for CCHS candidate? Or do we want to open discussion? So we can go one of 2 ways. We can open discussion, discuss the candidates again, or we can go straight to a second vote.
I'm gonna move to maybe one quick discussion, if it's okay.
It's a motion to discuss. Is there a second to discuss?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of opening discussion? No. Abstain? Noes? Okay, so we have open discussion.
I
Please,
guess I'll
Susie.
kick off the discussion.
Yeah.
For me, listen, I'm Canadian girl, and I have always learned, this has been my work ethic since a young person, is I always really lean towards the people that are really here and present and that have taken the time to come out and represent themselves. That really means something to me, but I know that life is lifing. Things happen, and sometimes you can't really make it and everything. But I guess I don't know, I give a hat tip to those that have taken the time to come out, and I am very impressed with the people that I have seen this evening. And still no bias against the others, but I do, it leans strongly to me to be able to connect, to speak to hear from, and to and feel that that what their value is. So that's important to me. So that's why I vote the way I do.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Maggie?
Go ahead,
Oh,
Francesca,
oh,
first. No, you
Jessica.
go.
I feel all the candidates that came today and that wasn't present, they represented themselves well. I just felt, to me, who stood out a lot was Karina, because I know she wasn't present and, life be life and stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? But like her thing, like the involvement that she's put in, it just shows like she's there and she's willing to put in the work and, I gravitated to her whole speech in here and I really, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Maggie?
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, so I think that, I mean, Garina has a wealth of experience and her child is in the ACEs program. And that's a representation that we definitely need. That's not always represented in these councils. And I think that something might have happened. Rose, did you get any?
We'll not discuss details.
Yeah. No, but she's always here. And I feel like her not being here means maybe, hopefully not, that something might have happened. So I think that her wealth of experience, her being a parent member, and already having experience within CEC, CEC 11, I believe. Yeah, that's what's speaking to me. But I also like Kim. I really liked her presence here. I really liked her responses. But yeah, as of right now, I think Karina, based on her experience, I would go with her.
Thank you, Maggie. Joanne?
The reason why I feel Karina Garcia may be a strong candidate, just looking at her profile and her history in the DOE system navigating, she may be a strong candidate that can sit on CCHS and can maybe definitely can hold her own and maybe not be intimidated on that panel and can speak up and be able to come back to us and report and vice versa. We want someone that can last and be able to go back and forth because we would like that to bridge that gap and make this something permanent and, you know, try to change history. And this is what we all about, you know. So hopefully others can, you know, maybe reconsider, look, and maybe someone else have a different opinion and can maybe shed some light in a different light why we should look a different direction. But I just look at it, just looking at her history and how she sat on different CEC boards, and some of these CEC boards are not easy to sit on. So for you to say that, that speaks value. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Heather?
It's, I'm trying to figure out the most tactful way to put all of this. I love Karina. She knows I love her. She is a very strong advocate. But again, I'm thinking about the CCHS. And it's horrible to be put in the position where you have to choose a candidate that is going to have the ability to be heard by that council. And my fear is, even as loud as Karina can be, even as strong as her voice can be, that council honestly is straight up ableist and racist. And they are not necessarily going to hear her no matter what she says. And it's sad and it breaks my heart, and it's so unfortunate, but I've attended many of their meetings, and just the way they speak about our students it's deplorable. And Karina, yes, can step up and say stuff, but it's not a reflection at all on Karina. It's a reflection on the other members of the CCHS. And I think sending, unfortunately, somebody like Kim, a middle-aged white lady who looks similar to many of the CCSH elected members, is going to have an easier time being heard on behalf of all of our students there, just because of what she looks like. And that's sad and it's unfortunate. And I'm just being blunt. And we've just had this is my third term, and every single one of our members that we've appointed there has been bullied and harassed to the point where they quit. And I don't want to see that happen at all. But I also want to make sure that, unfortunately, that we're sending a member that's going to have even a half of chance of being heard at that table. And it's, like I said, it shouldn't be this way. It's awful. But I just have to put it out on the table, what it is. And like I said, not a reflection on Kim, not a reflection on Carrie or Cindy or Karina or Raquel. It has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with the other people around the table at that council who just, I can't even begin to, they make me like I'm getting hot talking about it, you know? So anyway, that, I'm just putting it out there, and I apologize if it wasn't the most tactful way, but that's where I'm coming from at this point. And that's just, that's just what it is.
And I just want to say thank you for being honest about that, because now we understand and we want to make sure we do the right thing, and thank you.
I just want to say, I've never met Karina, so I have no idea, but, yes, I know, I would love to, I'd love to. I think she's amazing, the fact that everyone is advocating for her, which is amazing. Yeah, and of course, the word we use here is Caucasian. But anyhow, but no, I know, listen, you get the pass. But what I was gonna say is, you know, from the candidates that spoke tonight, it's like it's having that connection. So for me, I'm just kind of going off of what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing the passion, I'm hearing that, and I'm seeing some strong mamas out there tonight, and I really do love it. There is something, it's like I'm still drawn to Miss Kim. And I love Miss Carrie too, and Miss Cindy, you've been amazing as well. But there's something that stands out that I'm still kind of drawn, because I'm seeing a lot of strength. And immediately after the question was asked about that intimidation factor and that independence, right away was like, this is someone that can hold their own. So that's what I'm feeling.
Ron?
Yeah, yeah, just I agree with Heather and Susie. I haven't seen Karina before, but I think everyone loved her, so she must be a good person, right? And then but just like Susie said, I can only do something with someone I interact with, like someone I can see, someone I can talk. So that's my opinion. I will choose one of them from the 3 candidates we just met. And then, so in my opinion, since I just filled this seat since July, and the most challenging thing is we need some time to help the parents. And when the time came to, we need to do something to advocate, like we show up in some event like a person rally or something like that. And I saw the problem is that it's hard to ask those parents to step out, to speak up for themselves. And as I seen here from the resume, the story from all those candidates, yeah, I know Kim, she's professional, and Carrie, she's really good at funding or something, and Cindy, she spent a lot of time in the community, like to help a lot of parents to show up in the IP meetings and all those stuff. She helped parents in OPWDD, all her show up in the busing rally, and those things. I believe every person, every parent here, they have passion in special education. But when the times come, we need someone to really show up as the number to show up in the program that we have people to step out and care about the issue.
Thank you, Ron. Anyone else to speak? Please.
Thank you, everyone, for this discussion. All wonderful candidates. Kim and Karina definitely, and Cindy stood out to me in reading their personal statements. And I think what had me lean towards Karina was her experience and her stick-with-itness. I guess that's not a term, but right, that sticking through and persistence. Thank you. And when talking about this and talking about some other contextual aspects of it, and also echoing Susie, what you were saying just about thinking about the big picture. And as we're talking a little bit more about Kim, I could see how some of her experiences could lend itself to serving on that committee and demonstrates that stick with itness, persistence, just in a different avenue. So thank you for that context and that discussion about this.
Thank you. All right, I will quickly jump in. I mean,
So guess a motion to.
no, I would like to speak before we go to motion, if that's okay.
Okay, kind of done, but basically the last statement, and I think I said it before, so I didn't want to really repeat.
Sorry, Susie.
It's, you know, I guess just being present really does help. It helps when someone can really speak for themselves. It's so crucial. It's like key for everything in advocacy. So, but I love hearing that you guys are like, she's always here. She's there. She's there. But, you know, again, I just kind of am able to process a little bit from what I've seen this evening. So that was it. You show up and you show out, but okay.
Thank you. So I'd like to discuss before we move on to next. Like I started out saying I think all 5 candidates are great, and I continue with that thought process. I don't see myself changing on that. I think all these candidates are very well qualified, and great individuals, each their own. I liked each of the 3 people who spoke today spoke eloquently. They spoke about their passions, and their focus ultimately was on kids, and that's the key. I know Karina, I've known her for a number of years. I love her to death. You know, but I'm also looking at what's right. And I'll say CCHS is not the CCHS we saw on June 30th. There was a new team on July 1st. It is different. That being said, it is a challenging group just because of their focus, and it is a little bit different than our council's focus, right? And so I think that's important to acknowledge that there are new people there, but the focus still seems to be more focused on the specialized schools, not necessarily quite as accessible for our students as necessary. And I think that's a key issue, is that we need all of our high schools to be accessible, both physically accessible. Each of those buildings should be physically accessible, and also for the social, emotional, and the inner self of our kids, they need to be accessible. And the problem is right now the DOE does not have accessible buildings, both physically and socially, emotionally in our schools. All of our schools should be great schools. Doesn't matter if it's pre-K 3, doesn't matter if it's EI, doesn't matter if it's a student in Division 79, right, D79. They all need to be great schools. We need to have accelerated in all of our schools. We need to have the supports in all of our schools. We need all of our schools to be great schools. There shouldn't be a need to go to this school or that school. You shouldn't have to drive or take a subway or a bus 2 hours, 3 hours to get to that good school or that appropriate school. It should be really right around the corner for you. And the system is not there yet, and that's part of the problem that we face today. Again, if I had to choose, I could easily choose any of these 5 candidates and feel comfortable. That being said, you know, I chose Kim. I think Kim brings a unique perspective I think is important. Again, I think Karina brings a unique perspective that's important. Cindy, Carrie as well. I mean, that's the nice thing about these candidates, is I feel good with any of the 5. I don't feel that CCHS is what it was before, where they did drive our last member away, and the member before, and the member before, and the member before. But the reality is there is a track record there, and even if there's new people, there are still some holdovers, and that does concern me. But that being said, I don't want to vote based upon what could be. I want to vote for the individual. And that's the most important thing. We have to vote for who we think is the most appropriate for that position, and the rest be damned. You know what? If there's a council that needs to suck it up and grow up, then so be it. I hope that's not the case with CCHS. In the past, it was. But I want to vote for who I believe is the best candidate at this time for that role. And that's where I stand today. All right, thank you. Are we at a motion to close discussion, or is there any further discussion we want to have? Okay, is there a motion to close discussion?
Let's get a motion to, oh, Heather, yes, yeah, I'm fine with, sorry, yes, I'm fine to, motion to close the discussion. Again, if the candidates that are not here, I mean, I wish that I'd be able to ask the questions and get a response, but I can't ask a sheet of paper to respond, so it's hard for me to come to, a decision on the individuals that are not here, but dealing with who is here. I think I can motion to close the discussion
Yes.
and we can move forward to the roll call vote.
Motion to close, is there a second?
A second.
All right, got a second, all in favor? Opposed, abstain, okay, we have closure. Is there a motion to vote for a second round on CCHS representative?
Yes, there's a motion to vote and I say aye.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstain, okay. Rose, we're gonna go to roll call again. Council members, please name the candidate you select.
Francesca,
Karina Grace
Karina Garcia,
Garcia.
thank you.
sorry.
Joanne,
Kim. Brooke, Bernie Brooke, I'm sorry.
Heather,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Mark,
Kim Bernie Brook,
Dr. Melissa,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Ram,
Cindy.
Maggie,
Karina Garcia.
and Susie.
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Do not have quorum,
Wait.
majority.
Just to,
Ho-
confirm.
hold on, no, no. The question was, does the low person get removed? No, they're all five are candidates for the second round. So we have, just so everyone's aware, we had 5 votes for Kim, we had 2 votes for Karina, we had 1 vote for Cindy. So we need 6 votes to select an individual. No. So we are at 5 for Kim, 2 for Raquel, I'm sorry, 2 for Karina, 1 for Cindy. We have a couple options at this point, council members. We can move to a third round of voting. We can move to discuss. We can move to close the vote and not select any candidate. So those are our 3 options at this point in time. I think we're close. I think we should, I will leave it open to the council members to decide what they want to do. Heather, kind of question?
Because I heard Rose was first, so I'm gonna ask. So if we choose not to take a vote tonight, would the candidates who were not able to come tonight, would they be able to interview before we vote, like reconvene to vote?
So our next meeting would be on the 6th of November. We would have to call a special meeting and reopen up for new candidates. So which is really not enough time. We wouldn't be able to vote because we'd have to have another special meeting to interview everybody. We have to reopen up because we did not select anyone today. We have to reopen it up and Rose would have to put out a notice for the open position. Yes. You can't do interviews. If you do interviews, you have to, yeah. Yeah, Mike, sorry. So the comment was that, no, you say it, you've got the mic.
Well, the other option is if we do not open to the candidates that didn't come today to interview, we could just table the voting to next month meeting and we just vote, but we cannot have no one interview. If we have anyone interview, then we have to open it up to others, to new applicants and have a special meeting. Correct, but it have to start whole selection process. We'll have to start over as well. So those are the two options.
Here's the other thing, because this is what I understand from the roll call vote, is that when we all place a vote on a candidate, and from what I understand, the candidate that has the least amount of votes, if we're not eliminating a candidate and you're doing the voting process, then it's hard to move forward to actually to be able to whittle down to actually select someone, because then you're going to be deadlocked. So that's usually why the roll call, from what I understand, the person that has the least votes.
So we need 6 votes in order for that candidate to pass. So if we don't have 6 votes, like right now we have 5, then we have to do the voting again, or the other options that we discussed.
So is there a motion to discuss? Okay,
To take the voting to
can-
next.
can we hold on? I've got a note from Face. We are able to go into executive session. So if you want to go into executive session, we can discuss further. What that would mean is we put everyone in the waiting room, we close the doors, and we discuss. This is the ruling from Face, so we can go into executive session if you want and have a discussion. So if we want to, someone would have to say we want to move for an executive session. Again, we close doors, we put everybody in the waiting room, and we have a discussion. Rose would stay, and Tamika would be able to stay as support for that.
I'm wondering.
I make a motion to go into executive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we for the third time motion to vote one last time?
Make a motion to go to executive session.
There's a motion to go to executive session. Is there a second? Okay, Heather, a second. All in favor of executive session? One eye.
I'll need to abstain.
You got 1 eye, 2 eye, 3 eye, 4 eye.
I'll need to abstain for that.
We have an abstention. We don't have 6. 1, 2, 3. Ron, are you abstaining? Or are you voting? What are you voting? Not 2 abstentions. So we don't have 6. Well, I'm not saying anything yet. We don't have it. We don't have 5 to be a 6, so it doesn't matter what I want. We're at. Okay. thanks. If you're voting to executive session.
Joanne? Heather?
Yes.
Mark?
I'll pass for now.
Dr. Melissa? Ron,
Substantial.
Maggie,
Abstain.
Susie.
Yeah, I'm a no. I just want to move forward with the, yeah.
Or no? All right, we're at 4 yeses, 2 abstentions, 1 no. So we are not going to executive session. So we have a few options. 1, we can move for discussion. 2, we move for vote. 3, we table. Heather has a motion to vote. There's a second from Melissa. All in favor of a 3rd round of voting? All right, we've got 3rd round of voting. Sounds like we got 6. The 3rd round of vote. Any abstentions or noes? Okay. I count 6. 3rd round of vote.
Say yeah.
We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 3rd round of voting. Okay, Rose, roll call, please.
Francesca,
Karina Garcia,
Joanne, Heather,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Warren,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Dr. Melissa,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Ron,
Cindy Chan.
Maggie,
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Susie.
Kim Bernie Brooke.
Okay, we have 6. All right, Kim Bernie Brooke, congratulations. You are selected as our representative for Citywide Council on High Schools with 6 votes. Karina had 1 vote, Cindy had 1 vote. I want to thank each of the candidates, the 3 who came tonight, the other 2 who applied. We are grateful. Cindy, you're a D75 parent. We do have an opening on CCSE for D75. We would certainly encourage you to let FACE know if you want to apply for that. You've obviously been vetted, so it'd be quick and easy. But if you're interested, please let us know. Carrie, really appreciate your service as well. Please keep in touch. Really appreciate it. And Kim, congratulations. We will definitely be in touch with you. But so grateful. Thank you.
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry, Mark. Is it
Oh.
okay to, if there is time, I'd like to just say a few words.
Absolutely, Kim. Go ahead.
Yeah, so really quick, I just want to say thank you for just having the faith that I will represent this body and our students who need the special education needs of the schools, and making sure that we're representing multiple ways of learning and abilities that people come together. My son goes to a consortium school, so I'm not a big testing person. So anytime there's advocacy for the specialized schools, I am very ardently like, there's so many other ways that people can learn. And so also with that, Karina sounds amazing, and it sounds like I really need to meet with her. And Cindy, you were amazing. I was listening to you and I was like, I need to meet with you. And Carrie, with your experience as well. So please, I really believe that this does take a community. It's not about me, it's about me representing everyone. So I want to bring everyone's voices and needs to the table. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Congratulations, and we'll be in touch with you. Thank you. All right, next we're moving on. We have treasurer election. We are without a treasurer. If there is anyone who would like to nominate themselves, we are open for a treasurer. Heather, please feel free. You're itching. I love it.
Okay, so people hear the word treasurer and they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in charge of all the money and the budget and all this, oh, I can barely pay my own bills and things like that. It really is not that big a deal. It's like 95% title and 5% signing Rose's I think Rose timesheet or signing the co-president's reimbursement forms. So it's not a huge overwhelming job that's gonna put like 20,000 spoons on your plate that you can't manage. Just want to put it out there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. And yes, the budget, there is no budget. I mean, have you seen it? There's literally no budget. That's part of the joke in this whole thing is there's nothing to really spend. If you're interested, we got another vote on or another meeting on November 6th. You know, we can wait a few more weeks. But
So, sorry, can I
you
say
can
something more
go ahead.
really quickly? So council members, I really want to emphasize that we really need a treasurer if anybody can volunteer because Mark and I are not able to get our reimbursements until we have a treasurer to sign off on it. So just right. Francesca's secretary, recording secretary already know. Yeah, I know. And by the way, Rose does a lot of the work already.
99% of the work. Yes.
Would I also be allowed to?
Heather?
No, unfortunately, Kim, you're not on our council, you're on the CCHS.
No, I got it. I was just like asking just because I'm totally comfortable with the treasury position. So
Kim, you were offering? Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Kim. You can be honorary treasurer. How's that? But thank you. Rose has got her hand up, so let's go to Rose.
Yes, Kim. Hi, how are you? Welcome aboard. You will be submitting your expenses to the CCHS admin.
You can be there.
maybe not. We'll see.
I would like to nominate Susie as treasurer. I second it.
Yeah, I just talked to her. I think Susie's going to accept it. I second.
We got double seconds. Susie?
I am now inspired by all of you and Miss Kim, so I will accept the most coveted position. I don't know that anyone wanted this, but all right, no, Miss Kim.
Let's go to the fastest vote possible so she can't renege on it. All in favor? No, we gotta do roll call. I'm kidding. So there was a motion and a second. Rose, run through it fast.
Yes.
There was a yes already. We're fast here, Rose.
Joanne. Heather.
Yes.
Absolutely. There you go, Rose.
Dr. Melissa.
Yes.
Yes.
Maggie.
Yes.
Susie.
Yes, okay, I accept.
All right. Thank you for stepping up, Susie. We appreciate it. That was lightning round. Oh, Rose has got something.
I will be sending Susie everything.
I'm afraid now. No, I can handle it. I can fix that.
That's great, Rose. No, it's Susie, you need help. You know where to go. Ms. Rose takes care of all of us, and then some.
A rose by any other name is just not the same. It's only Rose. So I'm honored to work with you.
Yes, we have the rose and we have the thorn. She is definitely the rose. Public comment. Any public comment? Anyone left other than Kim and interpretation? Kim, thank you. Appreciate you sticking out. And again, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Well, is there a motion to adjourn calendar meeting? We do have a little bit of business meeting to still do.
Yes, a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion adjourned second.
Second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? We need a we hear a 5-minute break. Okay, 5-minute bio break. All right, thank you, Rose. We are going to get started with the business meeting. It is Thursday, October 16th at 8:34 p.m. The Citywide Council on Special Education business meeting will now come to order. Rose, can we do roll call, please?
Francesca,
Present.
Joanne, Heather,
Present.
Mark,
Yes, present.
Melissa,
Present.
Ron,
Present.
Present.
Susie.
Present.
With the donuts. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, Tamika, do you have a face update? Oh, I don't see Tamika. You scared her away. She'll be back. She'll be back. So we'll skip the face update. We'll skip it and go to committee updates now and come back to Tamika. So we have 4 committees we agreed to 2 meetings ago. Is there any update from the annual report committee?
I'll talk just really briefly. So we haven't met, mostly because I was waiting for Dr. Melissa to come the next meeting in person because something tells me that we can make great annual report things happen. So the goal will be to get a meeting in the calendar, hopefully for November. And we'll send that out once we kind of coordinate our schedule.
Okay, there's also something I wanted to say. Mr. Mark, I think I sent you an email. I don't know if you read it, probably really busy. But I actually wanted to see if I could propose and request a creation of a new committee. And that committee would be Health and Wellness, something that would actually start to help benefit a lot of the parents, the families, and even the children. And having like little movement, mind-body breaks and helping families. There's a lot of families that are a little distressed and facing challenges. Mothers I speak to often that are crying and frustrated about their child not meeting the neurotypical standard and level of the other children that they're seeing in society. And mental health and wellness is so important. It is crucial. And when you are, especially we have you here, president and PTA member, and I'm also like a co-chair on the SLT. And sometimes you're seeing a lot of chaos. You're seeing people that are adults, we're parents, and they're breaking down and they need support. They don't even want to admit that they need help. Sometimes they don't even realize that they need the help. And if we can get them to start moving their bodies, and I think it's something that would be really crucial, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And that's something that I'd really like to do and move forward with, if it would be all right with our council.
So Susie, do you have a motion to create is it health and safety? How are we phrasing it? Health and wellness, pardon me.
Health and wellness, yes. So I make a motion to create a committee for health and wellness.
I second that.
Yes.
But you are more like about the mental health, right?
It kind of, it's a holistic entity, the mind follows, well, I guess the body follows the mind. The mind, it's so important to exercise the body, feed the body, So that nutrition is important because that affects the brain and also our sleeping. There's so many things to crack into. But when you start getting families and parents and people to start to move, they're already, it's like their energy and their disposition changes for the better. And we need to see more of that because it is, I don't want to see depressed faces and, and sometimes we're really going through it. Some days are harder than others, but I think if we really have a strong initiative that's healthy, it could create a great domino effect and start to impact, because guess what? Our children feed off of our energy. So when we come home or whatever it is, if we're going through stress, our nonverbal children are picking up on it and it impacts them, whether we realize it or not. And our children are brilliant, whether they're communicating verbally or they're not speaking, they're picking up and they're seeing things that we don't even see. And we may try to hide things and they know.
Is this just for adults or it's gonna be for the adults and youth?
It is going to be for the children and for the adults. It's kind of like a family unit, they always say that the family that could work out together could stay together. It's like that type of mentality. So when we're doing things, when you move, I move, and it creates that positive energy. So I'd like to do that and even encourage it even in the school setting. So when kids have this movement break, because sometimes they need to, they act out. I don't know if you guys have gone into the classroom and seen your children in the classroom. Kids are different in class than they are when they come home, because sometimes the shenanigans start at home. But it's important that we start to instill some of those values, because sometimes as parents, we're setting up the dental appointments, the medical appointments, and making sure that everything is taken care of for our children, and then we forget about ourselves.
That may be the
really need that.
longest motion for a committee ever. But appreciated. No, I kid.
I would
Yes.
love to work with you and pick your brains in that area.
This month.
Yeah.
I have, my duties and
That would be awesome.
All right, we got motion, we got second. All in favor of creating the Health and Wellness Committee? Opposed, abstentions? There we go, unanimous. There we go, Susie, thank you. Thank you for volunteering. And if anyone wants to join Susie, please let her know. The ultimate irony, isn't it? It's the mental part. Oh, love it. All right. Nice.
Sorry. Susie.
Heather, busing committee, any updates?
So Ron and I had some email conversations back and forth to try and pick a date. And we had a hard time getting it in the calendar. I think too, because by the time we were able to figure things out, it felt too late to post and allow for interpretation to be there. So I think we had kind of talked about it being on a Monday in the evening, and maybe doing it like the second Monday of every month, something like that. So I think that's probably what we'll do. I'll confirm, Ron and I will confirm the date, like which week of the month. And so that we can keep it consistent, and then it'll be easier to schedule interpreters and stuff like that. But hopefully we'll have that to the council by, at the very latest, the end of next week.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Communications Committee.
Okay, so Joan and I are chairing that committee, and we have looked at dates, and our next committee meeting date will be November 19th at 6:30 p.m. And we are aiming to to do it every third Wednesday at 6:30. But that'll be pending the, the schedule and, there could be some changes. So we're gonna start that hopefully that date. There's no other conflict. So yeah, just put a pin on that. Thank you. Communications and Outreach Committee with Joan.
Okay, great.
Beth, you want to say something or?
Virtual Zoom.
No.
Zoom. Okay, last legislative committee. Rose will be sending out the invites. Just, we're gonna do it Mondays, first and third Mondays of the month, 7 p.m. So where there's holidays, we're not doing it. So we got Monday, November 3rd, and we'll send this out to everybody. November 3rd, November 17th, December 1st, January 5th, February 2nd, March 2nd, March 16th, April 20th, May 4th, May 18th, June 1st, June 15th are the dates. Yes.
Since you guys are doing Monday, first and third Monday, maybe we should just
Yeah.
go ahead and say the second Monday of the month for the busing committee.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and do that, second Monday of the month.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. So,
6:30, right? Heather, 6:30, right?
so everyone's aware, some of the stuff we'll be working on, we're going to be working on a legislative, Rose, I'm sorry.
Wanted to say that every committee who is setting up dates, please email me those dates and the time, so that I can also submit the request for interpretation.
Yep.
And create a spreadsheet of all the committee meetings that come in.
Yes, and to get them in the calendar as well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll forward the dates on you, Heather, and everybody else. Just to talk a little bit about legislative, committee, what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna work on a legislative breakfast. We've got a targeted list of people right now that will be doing invites. I'm waiting for the legislative calendar to actually come out for Senate Assembly for 2026. They only have the 2025 legislative calendar. The reason for that is you don't want to have a meeting on a date the legislators are going to be in Albany. Same way we don't want to have the calendar for city council where they're going to be tied up in meetings and they can't be here. I know it's only across the walk, but we want to make a date. It's probably going to be like a Friday because typically Senate Assembly is off on Fridays. And they usually have a very curtailed schedule at City Hall on Fridays, so they can be more doing outreach. Heather? Okay. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. We definitely want her as one of them, but we'll be doing a lot of invites. The timing.
She's also a disability advocate.
Yes.
She has her own disability, so she's really out there for our community.
Yes. No, she's a good apple from the Big Apple. No, we have a very large targeted list. Some of the things we'll also be working on is we want to start working on some resolutions. I'm sure every member's got resolutions, but I just want to quickly touch on what we're going to plan on putting together resolution-wise, so everyone's aware. First, there's going to be a timing issue, and so it's important is the revised. City Council is looking to vote if Speaker Adams allows on paras and para pay. There are more than enough council members that support the legislation that's been proposed. It has not gone to the floor. There is talk that City Council in December is going to have a hearing on that. I'm not sure the date yet. They have not published it, but it sounds like in December there's going to be a hearing on para pay and the para bill. So that's going to be the first probably that we get up there is talking about para pay. I have some personal issues with the para bill as City Council has it written. It's a bonus effectively. It is not in base pay, which means they don't get it in their pension. They get liable for higher taxes as a result on that bonus. They're calling it something else, but it's effectively a bonus, and how it would be taxed from federal level to be taxed as a bonus, which doesn't make any sense for these individuals who work so tirelessly, get paid so little. There's a bunch of gutless council members and mayor and UFT out there that are not willing to put in the base pay. With that, though, I also want to make sure we're taking care of our OTs and PTs because they are getting also hosed. They have effectively the same type of credentialing they have to go through as speech, and yet they get paid a fraction of what a speech therapist get paid with similar credentials, which frankly is also similar to a special education teacher, mind you. So they should get paid at a pay parity. And so that's the other part. Busing, Heather, Ron, anyone else who wants to work on it. We've got a lot of stuff. EPP, which is employee protection, is critical. As I mentioned earlier, that the PEP is looking at a resolution this month on busing, which is great. That's part of it. But there's a whole lot more that we need to do. Heather?
I'm hoping we can get our hands on their resolution and maybe we can.
I hear.
Yeah, so maybe we can draft our own, or see if we can sign on as our
Yeah.
council to their resolution.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. It just gives more support to what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would look like us drafting our own, using their language and citing that it's from their resolution, or us seeing if we can sign on with theirs, or I don't know what that would look like.
I will forward it out to everybody and we can make that decision as a group. They're going to vote on the 29th. We'll know if whatever their final language is passes. At that point, we can decide to use as our base and just solely go off that and vote on it at the 6th. We'd have to give our 72-hour notice ahead of time, so we don't have to read it in. Otherwise, we have to read it in, which we can do. But I think there's a lot more, frankly, than just what the PEP is doing. But if we want to do one resolution that just is a copy of, and then do a second resolution down the road that gets a little more nitty gritty, that's fine too. Because I would like to also talk about like Nice Bus, which is our city-owned bus company, and the contract length they hit, the EPPs they hit, but I think there's also after-school and weekend busing that's necessary and is not talked about by PEP. So there's a lot more because when you have weekend academy, you have to take the subway. Or however you get there. When you have, let's say you're in band after school or sports, or you're doing tutoring after school, you're on your own getting home, right? That makes no sense at all. And yet they don't get Metro cards or Omni cards, right? So make that make sense. So the next one with busing would be Omni cards for all students, right? I don't care if you live 1 block from the school or 100 miles from the school, not that you're going to go in there. But, the point is every kid should have an Omni card in the city, beginning of the statement. We shouldn't be discriminating against kids with yellow bus service, flat out. There's some state fixes, there's some city fixes. Fair student funding we need to get fixed, right? There's a couple issues with fair student funding. There was supposed to be an enhancement for fair student funding for students with disabilities. It got pulled because the current mayor did not want that. And so we need it for our kids. I also think we should have a lockbox, right? When funds from first student funding do go to school, they have to be spent on students with disabilities. They can't be shifted to whatever the principal wants, which is how it is today. They don't have to spend the money. And so you see where services don't get provided in these schools because that money's magically spent elsewhere. Foundation aid, the state screwed us, right? They screwed us on the regional cost index, only gave it to Westchester County because magically, guess where the legislators are that control the Senate and Assembly education committees? There you go. And then there's also students with disability enhancement, which was recommended by Rockefeller University. It did not make it in Governor Hochul's bill. We need to get that fixed. We need class size funding from the state and the city. And when we say, the state will say, well, we're fully supporting with fair student funding. Yes, but then you're also charging us over $200,000 for charter school rent, which no district in the country has to pay. We also do not get transition aid like every other district in this state. So we get double whacked, and that hurts us hundreds of millions of dollars every year. So we're getting first student funding, except then they're just taking it out of our pocket the other way. So we need the state to actually step up and do their job. Those are big deals. The EPP changes are critical for busing. We can't have a real bus contract until they fix EPP. Maggie will be on this, which is 853 and 4410 funding. These are the kids who the city decides they can't fit in any of our programs, not D1 through 32, not anything in D75, not anything in D79. These kids get dumped off onto what they call non-public schools that's paid for by the city and state, and yet they get a fraction of the tuition that a D75 student gets that a D1 through 32 student gets. And so they don't get the services that they are entitled to by the law effectively. We need expansion of dyslexia programs to be, every district should have a dyslexia program, right? The ASD program should be in every district with a, if you want a seat and you're entitled to a seat, you get a seat, not on the waiting list, not stuck in a school that doesn't make, that it's there, not taking a 2-hour bus every day. Co-location schools, there's a lot of problems with co-location schools that are hurting, and it can be 2 DOE or 3 or 6 DOE schools in one building, and it can be a DOE with a charter or a charter with a charter. There's a lot of issues that happen with that. So those are some of the resolutions that will be worked on in that committee. If you've got more, please feel free to bring it to the legislative committee or work on it on your own. As a reminder, you do need to have co-signees. You have to have co-signers for resolutions to bring them forward. So just a heads up on that. All right, I'm sorry for taking so much time on the legislative. I just want to give you a heads up. Heather.
I don't know if it's time or not, but I guess it's kind of related a little bit. I just wanted to highlight that when Mark sent out the email up with the candidate things, there's also on that email was the DOE's response to a resolution that we passed last year.
Yes, thank you.
Basically stating that it's not fair that parents of students with IEPs that are not in public school. So this is ones in 853 schools, 4410 schools, home schools or private schools. They don't have, they're not allowed to vote in our CCSE election, even though our council represents them. And so I think when they decided to decide who could vote, they took what was the easiest way for them to be able to do it in their system, and they disenfranchised a lot of families with students with IEPs. They can run for a seat and be elected, but they can't vote, which our resolution said is just, that's not okay. And it really isn't even how the law is written at the state level. So this says that they're reviewing the 2025 election, and then after they want to, I guess, discuss areas for improvement with us. I just want to make sure that we don't forget to hold them accountable to meet with us. And I also think that we should ask if one of our council could be appointed to this working group that they refer to in the letter too, because one of us should be on that working group so that we can advocate for our parents who can't vote.
Turn on your mic.
The working group, how to improve the election for the upcoming. Is that the one they just had, that working group that they just had for this past election?
I don't know if that's the group they're referring to here or not.
It is.
Oh, okay. Well, then it would be, okay, so then scratch, rewind.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they actually took the advice and the feedback from our council members while they were making decisions about elections. Thank you.
Yeah, we did have a postmortem as the election working group. So they did have a postmortem, and there was a lot of stuff discussed. That being said, we're gonna have a new mayor. I mean, they had their event tonight. We have a new mayor in less than 3 weeks elected. We will see which individual it is, and certainly they'll decide who is the next chancellor or continuing chancellor. And certainly we will have to be in touch. That being said, that leads us to a nice segue. Our next meeting's coming up. We have Office of Enrollment, November 6th. So it's good timing because we have enrollment for middle school and high school that is in full gear at that point. High school ends on December 3rd. Middle school, I believe, is December 12th, give or take. It's effectively a week later. And so we're right in the midst of it, which I think is really helpful. They actually, for high school, just yesterday had a high school enrollment info session for students with disabilities. So they had one in July, they had a second one today, which was good. Heather?
So I just want to put on the public record that I was, and I noticed that they did it with the other, so it wasn't just students with disabilities, but the enrollment office literally sent out the email about the event like 3 hours before the event. And I think it's ridiculous. I was not able to attend because I found out 3 hours before it started that the event was even scheduled. And so it's very disappointing. And with this, one of the chancellor's goals is to engage families. It's in the pillars that you can't engage families by sending them an invite to a very important information session 3 hours before the event starts.
They just to be fair, they have had notices that have gone out earlier on that. I'm telling you, I've got emails from them because I registered well over a month ago for it from the email that I got.
I actually went and searched through my email and there were a couple other ones for not disabilities. But this one, I did not find another one specific for disabilities that was sent out. And I assume I would have gotten those other emails as well, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they sent it out early, but I looked, I searched, I don't delete any of my emails. And I searched and I didn't find it.
Yeah, there was prior ones sent out. I'll just, I hate defending the DOE, I really do, but damn. This is one of those, they did actually send out something earlier. That being said, to your point, they should have been blasting it much more frequently and called it out more because it's 3 hours before is like wasted time, useless time. Office. Mm-hmm. Yes. The same level of, sorry, Heather. You're right. The same level of focus is not there. You know, when face is involved, because face is face, they blast it everywhere. When other groups are involved, it's not so easy. You know, we've got this transition meeting coming up on November 8th, which is huge, to be honest. I mean, it's just like a momentous thing. I only know about it because I was in a non-DOE meeting and it came up. Think about that, a non-DOE meeting and it came up. Then I went to the website and went, you know, coming soon. Finally, they popped up some stuff about 2 weeks ago on the transition website page. And then we got some info today, which Rose will send out hopefully tomorrow, with a couple flyers about the event, to our distro list. But you know, it's interesting how when DOE really wants to get messaging out, they will pull all punches and get it done. When it's not a most favored nation, we'll say, things don't quite get the focus from the DOE central office as other things. So there's an interesting part to that.
Just some very brief comments. So I confirmed with the head of the district supports or district services, and basically, if parents are being told that that for CPSE, so preschool special education, if families are being told that they have to go through 3K and 4K programs first before even if it's not an appropriate program for the child, and even if maybe a 4410 preschool program may be appropriate for them, that's a state approved non-public preschool program, you know, that's not, it was confirmed that that's not the way it's supposed to go. They have to meet the needs of the children, preschool children. So if your family, you know, families out there hearing that, getting that push by IEP teams, CPSE teams, I mean, in your meetings, please email us and let us know, and we can escalate, because we need to let special education office know that this is happening, and the district office offices know, and the CPSE heads know as well, because that's not the directive. Another thing that I want to add to what Mark was saying was the AI announcement, generative AI announcement that the chancellor made in her state of the schools. And I can put that information in there, but basically they're pushing that and kind of going with developing some parameters around how they will present it. And kind of how that's going to be part of the education moving forward. Thank you.
So Maggie, this is one of the issues, what's going on. Parents are getting letters between early intervention and CPSE that it's coming to that mark, and you can either extend and stay with early intervention, or you could transition over to early childhood, and in between, so that you don't have a gap in your service, you can continue your service until the transition and you get retested, because CPSE is retesting the students when they are coming into 3K, into their early childhood. Now, parents are doing that, and the service is stopping. Nothing is going on. So they're going several months without anything. Now it's time to get evaluate. Okay, the little ones are getting evaluate. They get in the history from the parents. Parents are saying, oh, we had early intervention, this was done, so on and so forth. And you in the meeting. Are they looking at the prior report? No. You offering the prior report, and you said, would you like to see it? No. My child was getting this up until y'all stopped the service. And okay, this is two different agencies. We don't have nothing to do with this. And you can say, well, it's supposed to be integrated together. Y'all supposed to be working together. And they're saying, no. This is what they're telling families. And this is where the big disconnect is. And this is where families are getting discouraged. So now the child is getting service and getting evaluated. Now they're going to say, oh, well, we don't see nothing. Oh, well, we may see this, or we see the child tongue curl while they're speaking. Do you notice that? Or we may see this. Well, if you continue watching this, or when the child starts 3K, if the teacher sees a problem, the teacher can go and put an initial letter in, and we can start the process all over again. And this is what they're telling the parents. And then the child now has gone 6-7 months with no service. Now the child is being called for 3K, going into 3K with no service. Now it has been several months, because you know they're cutting them off at 2.5 years old. So now the child is 3, and now here go the process. Now the teacher's starting to learn the child. Now we don't know where the child is at, because now the child is picking up new habits, learning, or depending what it is, and exactly, or regress. Yeah, you know, you don't know, and now you're starting all over again, and it's a whole new program, because now the child can either be in an early center inside a DOE building. It could be in so many different places now where they doing the 3K, because 3K is being offered so many places under DOE sponsorship. And then now you have to wait your turn now to get service or get evaluate. And that's where the list starts all over again. And now child may be going pre-K, almost kindergarten. And then
I think I think there might be a resolution in there, you know, because last term we did have the early childhood. What was it, Mark? DY, it was.
We had Office of Mental Health, who handles it, and Deputy Chancellor Hawkins, who handles that transition time. So it's interesting. We can reach out to them again. I know
I just did plain and simple with my own family. I just did over the summer, and I couldn't read it the way I wanted to go to the supervisor because I had like a slight family emergency, so I couldn't do that. So they got by one with me on that one, but I am gonna go circle back on them with that. But I'm just saying, it's other families saying the same exact thing, and they're getting discouraged, and they don't want to say nothing because some of them saying they don't want to rock the boat because if they do, they don't want their kid to get pushed out the program. They don't want too much attention brought to their kid, and they have to go to a special program. You have some families like that.
The other thing I've heard from parents too, is many parents don't know that they can ask to have the services extended. And so they just get them shut off and nobody tells them that there is an option to maintain services. And so it's also like I don't want to say a purposeful, you know, what it's the withholding of information. It's like when you read a contract and there's a tiny little fine print at the bottom, it feels, it has that kind of energy about it. So just putting that out there.
Thank you. And yeah, we need to get back with DC Hawkins and see what's going on because that's concerning. I mean, we talked about similar issues. It sounded like the world was getting better, but clearly not because this was back in June. This was the end of June. We had the special meeting to talk with that group, and you're talking summer, so it's after she spoke to us. Yeah, no, it's not acceptable.
And it really all boils down again to lack of providers. So even when a lot of times they don't do the evaluations or they kind of discourage because they know it's going to take past their limit of time they're allowed to get them scheduled. And, you know, it is also hugely impacted by shortages of staffing in those areas as well.
They doing now is they outskirting to the daycare centers that have providers. So DOE is not just doing it themselves, they're also using the daycare centers, providers there to actually do the evaluations themselves. So they doing it both ways. They doing it at the DOE center and they sending them to the local daycare centers to do it there.
So when we talk lack of providers, I'm going to be honest, I find that laughable. There's plenty of providers. The PEP is planning on spending $373 million on third-party providers for related services. $373 million for a 3-year contract. There's plenty of providers. The problem is our DOE doesn't want to pay, right? And so we end up going to third parties that skim off the top and take a cut to the actual providers. If we would just hire those providers, then we get the middleman, which is all these agencies, and we get the services. The problem is the DOE just doesn't want to pay just doesn't want to pay individuals. They'd rather let someone skim off the top and some business make a lot of money off our kids' expense instead of paying. We talk about we need paras, right? And so the problem is we have a contract that hoses paras with the UFT, right? And that was a UFT decision. That's Mike Milgrew who decided to screw the paras. Let's just be honest. You know, Mike screwed our kids. What's happening though is we're going to pay non-UFT members, and we're actually going to pay them more than the UFT contract because of how Milgrew and his team built the contract. So we're going to pay more with this $373 million if we just hired OTs and PTs and paras at a real reasonable contract. And so we're paying it, and there's plenty of providers. You look at the related service PDF that you get if you get an RSA, it's hundreds of pages. There's plenty of providers. They're just not willing to work at the piddly amount DOE pays, and that's why DOE does enhance the rate, which happens to be higher than what they pay their own employees. There's plenty of people. There's no shortage. It's a BS by the DOE. We don't want to pay it up front. We'd rather let third-party contractors take money from our kids instead of paying directly to the individuals. Just calling it how it is. A spade's a spade. So, and it's Mike Milgrew, and then all of a sudden, when his reelection got tight, all of a sudden he told the paras, you're underpaid. We'll give you a $10,000 bonus. So it doesn't go into, he won't tell them that it's not going to impact their retirement, not going to impact, hit them on the tax line possibly. He won't tell them that, but he magically got reelected as a result of that, and barely got reelected at that. But that's the cynicism that exists in the UFT leadership. And what's it doing? We're taking care of the adults, we're taking care of the companies, we're not taking care of our kids. We're not focused at the DOE on our kids. We're focused on taking care of adults, not the kids. And that's the biggest problem I have in this building. This building needs to get its act together and get refocused to actually take care of the kids and focus on the kids and not focus on the adults. So I'm sorry to get a little political, but there's plenty of people out there. We just choose not to hire them. We don't want to hire them. All right, next business is the unfinished business, the CCSE open D75 position. So we have one candidate who was vetted that we received, I believe, this week from Tamika, or last week. I apologize on the exact timing. So we have one candidate right now. We have a couple of options. We could call a special meeting for November 6th and interview that one candidate. Joanne?
Can we call that young lady from this evening? Can we offer her, to apply for the D75 position?
The position is not closed as of now. That person's already been vetted by the DOE. So she is approved by the DOE. So if Cindy would like to apply, she's got to fill out that application, but basically it's a copy and paste of what she already did prior time. She can use the same candidate statement and do no work other than copy paste and apply. She would be certainly eligible to run because the position's not closed. And the vetting process is none because she's already been approved. So I'm not going to say what she should do, but that's certainly an option. The one candidate, I have not seen their bio, so I don't know anything about the one candidate. I just hate having only one candidate for a role, especially when the position's still open.
It also, like,
No, it has to be D75. Must be a D75 individual. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't seen the bio from the one person who's already been approved for the position. The person might be amazing. I hope the person is amazing. I'd love to have two amazing people to choose from. But that being said, we have the options of a special meeting.
So she's been approved by FACE and now we interview her and we say yes to if we want her. Okay.
Same process. So we have a couple options. We can keep the position open a little bit longer, which I would recommend we do, because I don't like having just one candidate for any role. I'd rather keep it open and then plan on our December meeting, doing what we did today, having a special meeting to start and then going to our calendar business and just make December a little bit longer. Right now, it's one candidate, maybe it's two, maybe it's three. I don't anticipate 5 candidates for a D75 position, honestly. It's tougher to get a D75 candidate, but that's how I would suggest we do it. At the November meeting, we could make that decision and vote to do that if we want. We don't need to have a second. We don't have to vote on anything other than the only vote would be if we wanted to create a special meeting for November 6th. If we wanted to have a special meeting to vote and then vote on, right now, a single candidate on November 6th, we need to just vote for a special meeting. Otherwise, we need to do nothing at this point. Okay. So the ask would be, Rose, could you please tomorrow send out a request for additional D75 CCSE for that open position that currently exists? And then hopefully, again, we can fill it at the December meeting. What's that? Yes. Rose would send it to our distribution list.
Mark,
So-
the reminder of the student vacancy that we still have too.
Yes, thank you, Maggie. We need to follow up with with Office of Special Education to see what's going on with that. I know we've had one applicant. I don't know what's happened. We have an applicant that's a senior who applied over a month ago. So I just don't know where DOE is in that process, because it's not really FACE at that point. It's Office of Special Education that has to do interviews and all that, and they ultimately make the selection at Office of Special Education level, and it's not like the normal FACE position. It goes through, I think, FACE with the initial email, then it effectively, as I understand, it goes directly to Office of Special Education. Before we end, Tamika, you want to come on down? Do you have anything to talk about, or are we all fried?
Sorry about that. So as far as the student application, we receive it, we vet it, and then we send it to Dial. So Dial has it. They will go through the process of interviewing the candidate and then letting you guys know the next steps. But I have no additional updates.
Tamika had 2 meetings last week with us, and appreciate that, Tamika, trying to make it available for everyone who could attend. For those that were able to attend, thank you. For those that couldn't, we're all extremely busy, so thank you on that as well. We have the last topic, which is the council priorities and meeting topics. Let me just quickly go over the meeting topics for the next 3 meetings, and then I think we should shut it down for tonight. Oh, okay, let's talk 3 topics that are coming up, and then you bring you in. Okay, that's next, that's point 3 on the finished business then. So the next meeting, November 6th, is enrollment, middle school, high school. We have senior leadership coming. The ask is, if you have questions or things you want to have discussed, please send an email and CC everybody in this room and the other council members, including Rose, because we want to get it to them so they can be prepared to answer the question, because too often we give them stuff that they have no clue on. And not that they don't have any clue, but they don't. Some of the stuff we get is pretty detailed, and they need to be able to really research the exact specifics. And so we want to not blindside them so they don't have a good answer. This way they have a good answer. So I think we said the 29th. If you can email Rose by the 29th of this month, and the rest of the council. The next meeting in December, I believe, is December 16th. That is going to be OPT. 18th? Sorry, thank you, Rose. The 18th is OPT, so we will have senior leadership for enrollment, then senior leadership for OPT. So again, same thing, bring your questions ahead of time in email format. There'll be time to open it up for other stuff as well. Okay, Heather's gonna get a survey out, that would be good.
But I
Because-
have another question about the enrollment.
Yes.
So I think my question is, when we're talking to them, what are we asking for them to bring to the meeting? Because my fear is that they will show up and it'll just be a how to log into my school.
There's no presentation. We're not doing, we're not,
Which we don't need. We really need to be able to ask questions.
we are not doing a show and tell for
Okay,
these
good.
next 3 meetings. There is no slide deck. There is no presentation. This is why we need the questions and the comments and the talking points from you all.
I just wanted to confirm that
It's-
because
it's-
the last thing we need
Yeah.
is like a.
No
like-
dog and pony show. It is driven by what you want to talk about. What is on our community's minds that we're representing. That's what we're going to talk about. No dog and pony show. You want the dog and pony show? They have plenty of middle school and high school enrollment meetings. You can have that dog and pony show. We don't need that garbage. We need the actual answers. I'm not sure if it's going to be Kevin. It's going to be one of the big 3. Or if not 2.
And to be Kevin is because I'm gonna watch the town hall recording again and pull out exactly what he said was going to happen with special education routing this year. That does not appear to have happened, so I can hold him accountable.
Fair enough. I'm not, Kevin's been invited. His schedule is his schedule, and it's a crazy one. To be fair to Kevin, I like beating up Kevin. I like giving Kevin a high five. I like Kevin, and sometimes I want to Yeah, no, like Kevin's straight up. You know, that being said, sometimes things happen. And I appreciate that. At least he's one I can say he's a straight up guy. He'll tell you real world. I mean, I like it every time, but he'll tell you real world. And that I appreciate about Kevin because he's one of the few that I can honestly say he won't BS you. He may not tell you everything, but he ain't gonna BS you because he can't say everything. The last meeting that we've scheduled thus far is the January 15th. Look, there'll be a new mayor on January 1st. It's going to be interesting, whomever it is. We may or may not have a new chancellor. Depends. You hear a lot of different names thrown around, including continuing the current chancellor. We'll see what happens. So on January 15th, we're going to have the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs back. They were here 2 months ago. We had a very good, robust discussion with them. We're going to have it again. I think it's really important because about a week later, the governor's executive budget comes out. Everyone's got we'll have from city, we'll already have put feelers out to the governor's office on what they want, including whoever the new mayor is. We'll certainly have put stuff there. So intergovernmental affairs will have the marching orders already from the new mayor and be marching down that path at state level, at city council level, at chancellor level. And so we're going to have a nice perspective on what's really happening. And so that should be a good, robust discussion again about how we move forward. State budget, look, the state budget's going to be rough this year. It's going to be interesting this year and it's going to matter. You know, we saw how, you know, IDEA staff basically got axed a week ago. We saw today that the judge nullified that for now. Who knows what will happen with the next level of judges after that? But there's a lot of stuff going down and we need intergovernmental affairs more than ever.
So also, a judge did put a pause on the RIFs in the special education office at the Federal Department of Education. However, I just want to point out that they were already incredibly short-staffed from previous firings. So
Yes.
even if they restored the ones that they laid off on Friday, there still isn't enough capacity in that office to provide adequate oversight to states and for our students everywhere that need special education.
Yep, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And yeah, a reminder, state budget deadline's April 1, although they blew past that this year by nearly a month. City budget starts on July 1, so early June, they've got to vote on that. So, you know, the intergovernmental affairs is hitting it. We're hitting them at the early part because there's going to be a lot of stuff we as a council are going to need to do with Albany, and we are going to need to do across the walkway there at City Hall.
Mark,
So
when
it's
is when are the dates for when folks are starting to head up there for lobby day or
We
um
we are waiting for the 2026 legislative calendar for Albany. We don't have that yet. They have not posted as of, I don't know, I looked at like 3:30 this afternoon to see if it had been posted. It's not been posted by either leadership. And
we
so
highly encourage members and your networks and communities to go and advocate and we all can go together. I mean, that Mark and I have gone, other members in the past have gone. So it's a little daunting, but together we can do it. And it's a crucial year because of all the federal funding cuts. Medicaid alone, it's just devastating. And now with all the decimation of the Office of Civil Rights. And I mean, that's our kids, honestly. That's funding, that's personnel. Those are departments that serve our kids on the federal level. So the state is going to have to adjust, but we have some lobbying to do.
I know it's fun being up in Albany. I mean, honestly, it's fun. And going across the way again, there's a council meeting coming up on the 30th, and then we'll have the big one in December as well. But please come if you can, and if you can't, you know, whatever you can do to support is awesome. All right, Heather, you had one other thing you wanted to say?
Yes, so in my paid job, I'm working with as a volunteer for the Office of Disability Affairs at Department of Social Services for their annual, every year they do some event to honor the Americans with Disabilities Act. And so last year they had this, we did this really great presentation on special education, and it's really geared towards staff that are staffing like DHS. So the shelter systems, the public assistance offices, career readiness programs, external vendors that run some of these programs to come and learn and obtain resources. So this year on the 28th, they're doing a resource fair for developmental disabilities. And they're gonna have, I think we have 20 to 30 agencies and vendors signed up to table, and there's going to be a room of education, an education room and education advocacy, and I'm in charge of that room. So
Nice.
and basically make sure things run smoothly, even though I don't even know who's going to be in there. But anyway, but the council, they said that the council is welcome to send not a ton of people, but 1 or 2 people, so that we can talk about what we do, inform, some of these staff how they can help their clients access special education resources, because, in my program that I support, we see families come in or parents come in and, they're trying to work on a wellness plan and they can't because like their kid's bus is not showing up and they can't go to their medical appointments, or they're stressed out because this and this and that. And so a lot of the vendors don't know how to help those families, or they're taking care of a child with developmental disabilities or an adult child that lives in their home with developmental disabilities, and they're just not aware of all the resources that are there. So yeah, so I just wanted to see if anyone wants to join me that day to kind of be a parent advocate at the table to kind of advocate and be there. It's not going to be like a ton of people coming in, but yeah, just to be a resource. It's on the 28th and there's 2 sessions. So there's a morning session and an afternoon session. Even though it's like this, it's the same people all day, but they divided it into so some staff could come in the morning, some staff could come in the afternoon. I will be there either way, so if anybody wants to come, they can. It's a Tuesday, yeah. It's I think it starts at 9 to noon and then from 1 to 4. It's at 4 World Trade Center. Yeah, 150 Greenwich at 4 World Trade Center. So if you're interested, please reach out to me and let me know, because I have to let them know your name so they can put you on the access list. And then I also reached out to the District 75 Council to see if they want to send somebody to sit with us, but they have a whole bunch of stuff going on that day. So I don't know if they're going to be able to send anybody, but I can send it to you. Yeah. So I was like, can CCSE bring somebody? Yes. So yeah, anyway, so let me know.
But just really quick, Heather and Ron, you two especially, the Pupil Transportation Advisory Commission is having a Zoom meeting where you can testify. I did sign up to testify. It's part of the PEP. It's on the 28th also, but it's at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So I would strongly advise anyone who wants to talk busing, please, we'll get the link out to everybody. Thank you. So thanks for putting it out there. I really strongly recommend you testify on that. All right, we have a motion to adjourn? Or do we have a motion to sleep here overnight?
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that. And I'm gonna let Joanne second it too.
All in favor to go to sleep? All right, we're going to sleep. Good night, all. Thank you. Interpretation, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tamika, Rose, thank you for your